You say you can't react in time because you're practicing simple drills, like 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, but matches present complex problems, like 386 times 792. You're unprepared for the real test. Alright, today we're breaking down serve and attack tactics. First, you must have a clear plan for what to do after your serve. Let's cover 3 basic scenarios. After a sidespin topspin serve, recover quickly and prepare for a topspin rally. After a heavy spin serve, if they push the return, you need to use more friction to loop the ball up. And after a no-spin serve, be ready to attack their return with a powerful loop drive. The reason you often lose these points is that after a long, fast serve, you freeze instead of recovering, which makes you late for the next shot. A second mistake is serving heavy backspin and then trying to smash the return. You'll get caught by your own spin. Third, if you serve no spin and then try to loop their push with heavy topspin, the ball will go long. This shows a lack of a clear plan. After you serve, you must anticipate the spin and characteristics of the ball coming back. A topspin serve will always be returned with topspin, so you must be prepared for a rally. In a rally, you can't just passively block the ball. The opponent will change direction, making your serve pointless and putting you on the defensive. So, after your topspin serve, your third ball attack must be a clear tactic, either change placement, add power, or use a high-friction counterloop. Don't just rush your serve and then rush a passive return. That's an invitation for your opponent to attack. If you only focus on serving an ace, you put too much pressure on yourself, and your recovery for the next ball will be slow. Amateurs love to push on their backhand. If you serve with very heavy spin, their return will also be very spinny, even if it's just a passive block. However, if you serve a no-spin ball, their return won't be very spinny either, making it easier for you to loop. If your ability to generate friction on your loop isn't strong, stop trying to serve with maximum spin just to win the point outright. Otherwise, when they return your heavy spin, you'll be the one to misread it and make a mistake. If you serve a semi-spinny ball and they push it, your looping motion cannot be loose or floppy. That's a guaranteed way to hit the ball long. For instance, if I serve a very heavy spin ball, the return push will also have intense backspin. In that situation, trying to loop drive it is impossible, not just for you but even for professional players. You must add friction to lift the ball. So, when you serve a long sidespin backspin, you can't stand too close to the table, as the return will come back deep. After that serve, give yourself some space to loop effectively so you don't get jammed by the ball. If you stand too close after a sidespin backspin serve, you'll trap yourself. Take a small step back to create room. Now, for a semi-spinny serve, the return push won't have much backspin. If your swing is too loose when attacking this ball, you'll miss. When your wrist and forearm are unstable on contact, you lose all control and power, which leads to unforced errors. Therefore, when looping a semi-spinny ball, you must keep your forearm firm and stable. Even a little bit of wobble will make you lose control. This ball doesn't have much spin, so it doesn't need a huge, brushy loop. When dealing with semi-spinny balls, don't stand too far back, or you'll be out of position. After serving, take a small step forward. Keep your arm motion stable and compact. Prevent any wobble in your wrist or elbow, and you'll get enough friction on the ball. See? With this technique, your loop will be consistent every time. Your opponent can't attack a semi-spinny ball aggressively, as they'll hit it high or long. They have to play a softer push, so the return won't be very deep. Against this half-long return, remember 2 things: don't stand too far back, and keep your forearm tight. That covers the 3 basic ball types. Now, let me recommend a few specific serve routines. Let's start with the left side spin serve. One of my favorite placements is wide to the opponent's backhand sideline. A critical mistake is serving your left side spin to the middle of their backhand. For a player with a good backhand, that's a free point, it's too easy to loop. And from there, they can easily attack your middle or your forehand. When I practice my long backhand serve, I always aim for the sideline. And I'm not talking about a slow, spinny serve to the sideline, but a fast one. It's difficult to master at first, but once you do, your long left side spin serve becomes far more effective. If serving to the forehand is a 5 out of 10, this serve is a 7 out of 10. Furthermore, 80% of professional players, when faced with this serve, will return the ball down the middle. This sets you up perfectly to use their pace and attack their open forehand side. This works with both sidespin topspin and sidespin backspin. The key is to make the serve travel along the sideline. Remember to practice a fast sideline serve, not a slow one. And practice both topspin and backspin variations, because players handle them differently. My second favorite serve is the short sidespin topspin to the forehand. In pro matches, you'll see players constantly initiate attacks from this short forehand position. It's very difficult for the opponent to generate power on this ball. If they do, it's because your serve was too high. Your goal is to serve it low over the net, with either light spin or no spin. With short serves, stop worrying about how much spin you can generate. Instead, focus on how short and how low you can serve the ball. A player ready for a long ball will be slow to step in for a short one. A high ball gives them time to adjust, but a low ball dies after the second bounce, giving them no chance. Use a deceptive, light sidespin topspin serve to pull them out of position. Then execute a simple attacking shot with 50 to 60% power to win the point. The key to a deceptive short serve is not adding more spin, but making your short serve motion look identical to your long serve motion. And placement is everything. Aim for the sideline to force the maximum movement from their backhand corner to their forehand corner. When I serve this short sidespin topspin, I don't brush up on the ball, as that can make it pop up. I push forward and scoop hit. The serve has almost no spin, but my body action makes it look spinny. Just a forward push. The ball is dead, but they'll often push it back half high. From there, I read their body position. If they don't recover, I attack their backhand. If they recover quickly, I go after their forehand. If they recover to the middle, I attack the wide angles based on their stance. On your serve and attack, don't use maximum power. 50 to 60% is enough. Every player struggles with the transition from a short ball to a long ball. A quick loop with your forearm is all you need. Stop trying to kill the ball with a huge swing the moment you get a chance. You'll lose your balance in transition, then swing with your whole arm and miss. The third left side spin serve I use a lot is a sidespin backspin to the deep middle of the backhand side. This placement is extremely awkward to push. They can only block it back passively. If they try to loop it, they'll likely hit the net because it messes with their center of gravity. So, when serving to the middle, always use backspin. If you use topspin, they can just block it back aggressively. Don't worry if they try to backhand loop it, it will be a weak, awkward shot. Their push return, however, will be a perfect setup for you to attack. They have to use a soft, controlled push. If they try to add power from that middle position, the angle will cause them to push into the net far more often than from the corner. When they return with that soft push, you can step in, add friction, and loop it to either corner, which will force them off balance. The way to make an opponent look shaky is to first serve to an awkward spot, and then attack the wide angles. This keeps them constantly off balance and unable to set their feet. Let me demonstrate. For example, if I serve a sidespin topspin wide to the sideline, the opponent can't push it. They have to block or flick it. When they block it back, your next shot should be a change of direction, like this. This is the exact sequence we drill hundreds of times. If you miss one, you'll know exactly what adjustment to make. You must practice these routines. In a match, if you miss that shot once, you'll lose confidence and switch serves, only to make a different kind of error. Stick to the placement and drill it until it's automatic. Whether you hit it long, into the net, misjudge the timing, or your footwork is off, you can only fix it through hundreds of repetitions. For the backhand sideline serve, practice the topspin variation by changing direction to their middle or forehand. For the backspin variation, the opponent will usually push it. It's very hard for them to push this ball back down your backhand line, they'll usually miss wide due to the side spin. Because of this, their safest push is towards the middle of the table. Therefore, after this left side spin backspin serve, you should anticipate the return to the middle and prepare to attack with your forehand. Don't even bother with a neutral recovery. After the serve, immediately get into a forehand attack position. Since they can't push it wide to your backhand, the ball will come to the middle. By opening up your body for a forehand, you've already covered their most likely return. If you don't have a training partner, you can practice these routines during your actual matches by sticking to these specific serves. After the topspin serve, practice changing direction down the line. After the backspin serve, practice stepping around to forehand loop it. Master this tactic. When you attack down the line with your backhand, your recovery position should be closer to the middle. Because a good opponent will block to your wide forehand, leaving a huge gap. Your feet should be positioned near the center line, allowing you to cover the whole backhand side with your backhand stroke. For balls on your backhand side, try to use your backhand. Using your forehand from there shortens the court and makes it easy to hit the ball long. Next is the short forehand serve. No one in the world is comfortable receiving this serve. You might think long serves are effective because opponents miss them at a certain level, but having a good short serve is what makes your long serve truly dangerous. The short serve forces your opponent to step in. While they are moving forward, your next attack will be almost impossible for them to return. After the semi-spinny short serve, your follow-up attack should be decisive, using about 60% power, regardless of where they push the ball. After serving short to the forehand, recover to a central position, because they will most likely try to push you wide to your forehand corner. If they push to your backhand, simply load your weight onto your left leg, and you'll be in position to loop it. I'm standing in the middle, but by shifting my weight to the left, I'm ready for the backhand attack. But if the return comes to my forehand, a small step with my right foot allows me to cover that shot as well. If you struggle with your follow-up after a short forehand serve, it's because you haven't practiced it enough. If you miss one, try again. If you miss two, try a third time. You have to find the rhythm. Every opponent has a different pushing rhythm. Use this serve against everyone, analyze why you miss, and then adjust. For example, your opponent has a very passive, safe push. The reason you can't attack it is likely because you're standing too far back after your serve, your body hasn't moved forward with the play. Next time you see that return, make sure you step in after you serve, and your attack will be successful. If your opponent loves to push long and fast, then use your serve to practice your footwork, stepping back to handle their deep pushes. If they consistently push to your deep backhand, experiment with your recovery position. Is it better to stand a little further back, or a little closer? Is it more comfortable to loop with your forearm or more with your fingers? You have to make these adjustments based on the situation. After your short forehand serve, as long as your attack isn't hit directly at the opponent, you will almost always win the point on that one shot. So, everyone, after this serve, watch how your opponent returns the ball and adjust your positioning. Step in when needed, wait when needed. If you loop into the net, recognize that the ball had heavy backspin and you need to aim higher next time. You have to use this serve hundreds of times in matches to learn and internalize your opponent's tendencies and the properties of their returns. You say you can't react in time because you're practicing simple drills, like 1 + 1 = 2. But matches present complex problems, like 386 × 792. You're unprepared for the real test. You haven't trained for it, or have very little experience with it. It's like public speaking. The first time, your hands and legs might shake. But with experience, like a seasoned leader, you become confident and can speak naturally. At first, you might need a script because you lack experience. The basic forehand and backhand rallies you practice are the simplest skills in table tennis. They are just the foundational framework you build in your first couple of months. If you truly want to become a strong player, you must use matches as your training ground. Commit to a tactic, and if your follow-up fails, do it again. This is how we all learn to play these shots. No one is born with these skills, and you can't master them just from a coach feeding you multi-ball.